This is the Creating Wealth Through Self-Storage show by Mark Helm. Nothing Mark shares with you guarantees your success in the self-storage business. This is for informational purposes only. There are no calls to action, and nothing said or implied is a call for investment money into self-storage or any other asset class. You are responsible for your success in the self-storage business or any endeavor in life. Enjoy the show, and here is Mark Helm.
I'm in a partnership that's going to be closing on some self-storage facilities up in New England in the next month or so. And in the next week or two, I'm going to be getting together with the team up there to talk about putting some management structures in place for these storage projects. And I'm working through some spaces to prepare for that meeting. And given that these episodes are where I share out loud what I'm doing and learning about the self-storage industry, I thought this might be a good episode for the first quarter of 2026. So if you're putting a self-storage facility or your next one into service soon, let me share with you at least some of the spaces I'm going through. My name is Mark Helm. I'm the author of Creating Wealth Through Self-Storage, and I'm the creator of the Quickstart Academy, which houses a lot of the training like this and some of the paid courses that I offer, all organized around the smaller self-storage investor in the self-storage space. You can find out more about it at Creating Wealth Through Self-Storage. Hit the store tab and look at some of the courses that are offered there. But we're going to be bringing online over 100,000 square feet in the next few months. And most of it is existing. There will be an expansion, literally a conversion in a building that we're doing. So we have new space that's going to be coming online as well as existing self-storage. So as I'm thinking about putting the management in place for this particular project, I thought I'd share with you how I'm preparing for my meeting with my team. The first and most important is the manager. I'm thinking about the manager. Now, even if you are remotely managing self-storage, I think it's important during the lease-up period at least to have someone who is available or close by that can meet at a moment's notice or a short notice with potential prospects, potential customers, to sell the space that you're going to be renting. Algorithms do not sell people. People sell people. People take action when they have an emotional chord hit. Algorithms do not hit emotional chords. Call me a dinosaur, but I'm a firm believer that people sell people. And if you're in the self-storage business, you are one, in the service industry, and two, you're in the sales business. So when thinking about a manager, you want to look for the traits in a manager that will reflect the culture or experience that you want your partners, your other staff, your customers, your vendors, everyone who interfaces with your storage business will experience the culture that you create, and we particularly want our managers to reflect that culture. So we look for certain traits in managers. Now, very often in a lease-up situation, the skill sets that the manager needs to have, in other words, to be able to sell, be trained to sell and interact comfortably with people. That might be slightly different skill set, although not usually, but it might be a different skill set that's needed to run a stabilized facility. This project that we're taking over has a lot of management changes that we're going to be putting into place, as well as new space coming online. We have a manager, someone in our inner circle that we are going to be meeting up there, and we hope that it's a match for both of us. Our goal with this manager is that we would put him in place to oversee the transition into the culture that we want to create, as well as leasing up new space, then that person would replace himself with a new manager and then move on to the next project, either our project or a project he's doing on his own. I firmly believe that the right manager out of the gate is critical. Years ago, I did an episode on the managers, at least what we think are good traits in a manager, and we introduced you to our managers. There's a link to that episode in the description, and if you're watching this on Creating Wealth Through Self-Storage, there's a link in the text, and you can meet some of the managers that we have or have had in the past. The next space I'm going to be moving through with our partners and team to get the management ball rolling on these facilities is coming up with unique selling propositions, USPs. These will be the features that separate our facility from our competition within our trade area. I believe for smaller owners, especially smaller owners that are going to be competing in trade areas where there are larger players, designing and creating some USPs are absolutely critical. Now, a unique selling proposition can be many things, or it can be anything. It's something that separates you from your competition. In your marketing, which we'll talk about in a minute, what you want to do is distinguish yourself from your competition, and in many ways you're educating the customer base in your trade area that, one, storage is not a commodity, and two, that there is real value that your facility can offer over and above your competition in running storage and doing business with you. And one of the ways it starts is by identifying what's unique about your property in comparison to the others in your trade area. Unique selling proposition, USPs. Now, a USP can be anything. I've had it be 35-foot wide drive lane. I've had it be underground drainage. I've had it be the fact that we're a new facility. I've had it be the fact that we're an older facility that has been rehabbed. A big one is that we are smaller owners, or we're family owners, or we're local owners. We're not a big company. A Florida facility, I realized that all of my competition in my trade area had been flooded at one time or another in weather events, and the facility that I was buying has never once been flooded. That was a unique selling proposition. So this presupposes that you actually go to your competition. I go and rent units at my competition. I see what their strengths are and what their weaknesses are, and I'm looking for what our facility can offer that's unique and separate from what the competition is. It could be 24-hour access, or it could be limited access. Now, what we do is we hire the manager and maybe a staff member or two, and then we work with that manager to create, not just me as an owner or us as an ownership team creating the USPs. We work with the team, however big or small that team may be, to design and figure out what are some unique selling propositions. Now, here's how we train our managers. The USPs aren't going to do it alone. That's just the start. The USPs are literally the features that separate our project from another project. People don't make buying decisions based on features. What people make buying decisions on are based on benefits. So what are the benefits that our USPs can offer our customer base? Then we train the manager and the staff and the people working the phones what our USPs are, what the benefits are, and how we sell them to our customer base. It's the benefits that create the value in the mind of our customers that has them choose us. So we train our staff on how to sell, and yes, I did use that word, sell, how to sell the benefits that our USPs offer. So when I'm up in New England next week, we're going to be looking at what are some of the unique selling propositions? And I'll have that manager involved in that conversation from the start. The next thing that I'm thinking about and going to be talking about with our team is beginning to craft the message that we're going to get out to the world. Well, the world is really our trade area. So part of creating your culture and creating your message that you're going to get out to your world, i.e. your trade area, is coming up with your story. Now, it doesn't matter if I'm selling storage space in a high demographic area, a low demographic area, if I'm selling investment opportunities to very sophisticated high net worth people, if I'm dealing with vendors in my storage business, or even if I'm dealing with a small child talking about an allowance. It really doesn't matter. Human beings at all points on the spectrum relate to stories. As humans, I think it's just hardwired in our brains. Over a couple 100,000 years of our being human beings on this planet, I think much of the time, for most of that time period, our reality and our beliefs were shaped by the stories we heard and the stories we told sitting around campfires. So human beings, no matter how sophisticated we are, relate to stories. Now, the messaging that we're going to create is part of that story. So one of the things that we're going to be doing, or I hope we're going to be doing when I meet with the team, is creating the story of why we bought these storage facilities. Then our message will be a part of that story. Look, people take action in life when they are inspired. Stories inspire people. Now, I don't care how analytical or data-driven you think you are, you don't make decisions or you don't take action based on just data. You make emotional decisions, and mostly you use the data to back up your emotional decision. The story and the message will be designed to strike an emotional chord that will hopefully have the customer base take action in our trade area, and begins to distinguish our facility as separated from our competition, and begins to define the value that our customers will receive by doing business with us as opposed to our competition. And it also helps create the space in which our USPs, and more importantly, the benefit of our unique selling propositions, can be heard and the value can be recognized. For example, one particular project I was involved in, construction, actually the approval process got delayed. So construction was behind what we had on our timelines. In the meantime, a number of properties within that trade area put up space and a couple new ones came online. So when we hit leasing up in this project, we were behind some of the larger players and some REITs. So what did I know about my competition? Well, I knew that my competition was going to offer very low prices for people to get in, and then they were going to raise the heck out of those prices on people. So in our messaging, in the story we created, we're family-owned business, we're local, and we're part of that community. And the price increases that these other players are going to make on you, we wouldn't do that to our community, to our family members. I wouldn't do that to my mother. And if you do business with us, you're part of our community, part of our family. We'll lock your rate in if you need it locked in. We're not going to have the price increases that my competition's going to have. and actually did the math for them. That was in all our messaging. That was on our website. That was our customer base related to us as people who do not put arbitrary price increases through because we can. So part of what we're going to be doing in the next week or so is beginning to craft our story, create our message. Then, once we have our USPs, the benefits, our message, then we coordinate with our marketing team. Now, fortunately, hello Guy, our marketing team is our website provider, as well as the people who will be placing our ads and working our social media, hopefully. We want to make sure that our message, the value that the benefits of our USPs offer are prominent, hopefully above the fold, on our website, and are included in all the advertising and messaging that we use across the different platforms, that there's a consistency in logos, colors, messaging. When people answer the phone, when our managers answer the phone, the messaging and the benefits are in the conversations. When a bot responds in a chat, same messaging, same benefits. You can literally set a bot up, train a bot, just like you can a person, to offer features, benefits, and the value those benefits offer. The phone bank team, who will answer the phone after hours or when our manager or on-site staff is busy, same messaging they would get from talking directly to the manager. The USPs, the benefits, the value those USPs offer, and the message. Now, obviously, as an owner, to be able to oversee these and direct this activity, you've got to know your competition. You've got to know their strengths and their weaknesses. Here's another way that those come into play. We will train the staff, we will train the bots, and we will train the phone bank people, that when it's obvious they're talking to somebody or communicating with somebody online, and that person is not going to be converted in that phone call to a customer, we will literally give them questions to ask the other facilities. Now, obviously, these questions are thought out and they highlight our strengths and our competition's weaknesses. But you got to know them. And we have found that a very effective way to communicate our USPs, the benefits those USPs offer, and the value those benefits create for the customer. Then, once all that's in place, then I'll start working with the marketing team on very specific ads and what we'll say in the ads and the testing and the imaging, etc. But at a higher level, you've got to have this in place before you start even thinking about running your ads, in my opinion. But these are the spaces and the thoughts I'm putting together as I'm thinking about bringing on these projects that will be coming on in the next few months. If you're interested, I'll keep you posted on the progress and how effective and successful it's been. And if you're bringing a new project online, I hope this conversation helps. So my name's Mark Helm. Thank you very much. I look forward to being with you next week as we explore this world of self-storage. I look forward to being with you then.